If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video guys, we have some tactics for probably the most popular formation in the game, this being the 4-3-2-1, very meta, very overpowered, and yeah, just before we get into the video guys, please be sure to drop it a thumbs up as it does really help me out with the algorithm. Also sub to the channel if you are new, and yeah, with all that aside guys, let's get right into the video. I hope you enjoy. Okay then guys, so for the tactics, pretty standard as always. These don't really change just because of how FC24 is. It's a very one-dimensional game and you pretty much have to use very similar tactics regardless of the formation you're using. So defensive style, as always, balanced, gives you the best control when you are defending. When you want to be aggressive, you can. When you want to be a bit more passive, you can also do that. So balance is the way to go in my opinion. For the defensive width, I suggest anywhere between 40 and 50. It's so you can primarily keep that nice, narrow, compact shape to block all those attacks out through the middle, but at the same time, you keep enough width to cover the wider areas in case an opponent goes for an attack down the wing. So just pick a number that you're comfortable with from 40 to 50. Obviously, the higher you go, like 48, it'll be a bit wider, or the lower you go, like 42, it'll be a bit more narrow. So it's just completely up to you, really. For the depth guys, again, pretty much use what you want. If you want to use the automatic press that everybody abuses on FUT champs and rivals, then you can use 71. It's completely up to you. I'm not a big fan of it. You know, I don't really get on with it that much. So I prefer something like 65, where we've got that higher defensive line. I've been gradually creeping it up. So we've got that high defensive line, but we have a bit more control over when we are like pressing and things like that. So just use a depth that you are comfortable with. Don't be forced into using a specific number. For the build-up play, guys, pop it on balanced. Honestly, it's the best. The reason it's the best is because it's the best for every single one of these play styles. If you want to play slow build-up actually sucks. It doesn't work properly, so just use balance. The same with fast build-up and long ball. These just don't work properly, and I don't know why. It's just horrible to use. So balance is definitely the way to go in my opinion. For the chance creation guys, direct passing is an absolute must. This is because it's the meta way to score in this game. It's that push forward, track back type run meta. And yeah, direct passing is the only consistent way to get your attackers to actually move correctly to beat those like really overpowered AI defenders. So yeah, it's an absolute must in my opinion. The attacking width, guys, you can use a width that you're comfortable with. If you want to obviously make it more narrow in your attack, you lower the number. And if you want to make it wider, you up the number. So just keep that in mind. I've just settled on 43. No real reason why. It just worked out. Because I like to have a bit of a balance. You know, I want it to be narrow, but at the same time, I don't want my players to be glued together. So yeah, just use a number that you're comfortable with. For the players in the box, I suggest 6. It's a really good middle ground. You get a few players into that penalty area, but you don't overcommit to the point where you're going to get counter-attacked if you lose the ball. For the corners and the free kicks as well, I just leave them on 2, but you can do what you want with that and all. For the player instructions, honestly guys, pretty basic as always. A few minor adjustments from last week's. So for the striker, stay central, get in behind. We don't want him drifting out wide. He is the striker, the focal point. We want him to be in the middle as much as possible, so we leave him there. For the attacking runs, get in behind to force the runs out of the player because sometimes they can be very static on mixed attack. So getting behind always ensures that the striker is on the ball and chasing those through balls. For the left forward guys, stay central and get in behind. Again, similar to the striker, we want them to stay in those more narrow areas. On balance, width and drift wide, it kind of turns it into more like a 4-3-3, where if we wanted that, we would use a 4-3-3. So we want them on stay central to keep them in that awkward position, which is difficult to mark, and get in behind again to utilize their pace. To get in behind those defensive lines. For the right forward guys, we pop them on getting behind and come back on defense, but we leave them on balance width. Come back on defense to make it defend in a 4-4-2 shape. So this player on come back on defense will make it defend in a 4-4-2 with this player defending as the right mid. So the way this would set up when we don't have the ball would be Rodrigo left striker, Cantona right striker, Mudryk right mid, Hullet right centre mid, Tchouaméni left centre mid, and then Rolfo left mid. So that's the setup we're looking at. Just by popping this player and come back on defense makes us nice and defensively sound in both the wide and the narrow areas. Getting behind again, obviously we want to utilize the pace to get in behind. And then we also have them on balance width because a lot of the time they will be coming like from this right mid position essentially when we're defending. So you don't just want to always force them into that stay central area. So this can actually work quite nicely because, you know, if there's a good run opportunity out wide, they will take it when transitioning and stuff like that. So balance width works pretty well. If you want to also pop them on stay central just to force it, you can. Do whatever you like. Honestly, guys, I don't care. For the right centre mid, guys, the more box to box, we leave them on the default settings and cover centre. Default settings so that they will, you know, attack and defend, have a bit of a free roll, let them do what they want as such, and then cover centre so that it will defend as that right centre mid in the 4-4-2 shape. Now for the middle centre mid, guys, I use the more defensive minded player here, so Shuameni. So we pop them on stay back and also cover centre. Stay back, so we've always got at least one of these centre mids back, very important to bring that balance into the midfield, and then cover centre so that it will defend as that left centre mid in the 4-4-2 shape. So in my case, Hullet and Shuameni will be the two centre mids, and then Rolfo on this cover wing instruction, who's like more attacking, will defend as the left mid. So the way this will set up, like I said, is Rolfo left mid, Shuameni left centre mid, Hullet right centre mid, and then Mudryk right mid. So this is going to be a more attacking minded player, but you know, I just leave them on the default settings because they have that high work rate, so I kind of just let their work rates carry what they do. If you want to force it and pop them on get forward, that is also fine. Just use whatever you want. For the fullbacks, guys, whichever one is the most attacking one, balanced overlap. This is because it is a narrow formation and it's important to give yourself that wider option to beat things like the press, to stretch out the opponent's defense, which will then give your attackers, like the narrow attackers, more space through the middle as the defensive line is split. Things like that. It's just very important. Makes life difficult for the opponent. And if you've got somebody with a whipped pass plus, it's even better. So balanced overlap on your more attacking fullback. And then for the other one, stay back and overlap. So you always have at least 3 defenders back at a time. But when you send them on the run forward, they'll make that overlapping run to add that extra width. For the 2 centre-backs, we leave them alone, of course. And then the keeper, we also leave them alone. But yeah, guys, they're my tactics and instructions for the 4-3-2-1. If you have enjoyed or found it useful, please be sure to drop it a thumbs up. Sub to the channel if you are new. And don't forget to turn on notifications. And with all that aside, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Take care, guys. Peace out.